Man, oh man, guys and gals, these are the topics. These are the days that I love having a talk show because I can spit some stuff at you guys. You can spit some stuff right back. And we can just talk about some amazing topics out there. This being, of course, by the title, does age matter when it comes to esports, and specifically when it comes to esports pro players? Been a heavy debate as of late, especially we covered this just a few days back. It was Crim6 calling out some fans of Toronto Ultra because they were criticizing Looney. If you guys do not know, I believe currently a 28-year-old Call of Duty pro. If you guys are a fan of any esports scene out there, you probably know that 28 is certainly towards the upper years of what we see for pro players out there, and that is why the discussion has now started. Does age matter in esports? My short and quick answer for all of you guys is yes, I do think it matters, but we don't know how much it matters because esports is such a young scene, right? We've only been around for a couple decades, maybe a bit longer than that. When you think about traditional sports, how long they have been around, a lot more time to analyze exactly what age does mean and how it does matter when it comes to each and every individual esport. So I'm super curious, guys. It's going to be a video for a long time. People are going to come to this video and go right to the comment section and wonder what people think. So I'm very blessed to have a talk show and give you guys my short thoughts. I spit, you spit, and then we all throw a fit and we find out what we actually think to be true. And so first and foremost, the first thing that I think about when it comes to comparing age and why it matters in esports is the degradation of some skill sets over time. Naturally, you think that a 14-year-old is going to have characteristics that a 28-year-old will not, and I'm curious what you guys think about this. You think about right away, hand-eye, reflex, things as simple as eyesight, right? Usually deteriorates over time. You think about several physical characteristics that typically with time do not get better, or at some point in time, wherever that bar does lie, eventually tails off. And so we don't know exactly when that is or what characteristics, do tail off with given time, but that's usually the go-to argument for a lot of people out there. Given the responses as well, we can expand on that. And I will say that's probably a primary trait for my argument, that being physical characteristics that typically do not get better as you age older and older. Even further, I saw a great response out there about the ability to learn. Typically, I think we commonly see, a young kid can probably learn a second language easier and faster than a full-grown adult, right? There are things up there in the brain that, when it comes for learning and adapting, slow down with age. But again, where does that bar fall, right? After what age do all of a sudden you have a lack of ability or a lesser ability than a young kid to actually learn as fast or as well as they do? It's something to think about. I would say a response out there, and again, thanks to all of you guys who do respond on Twitter. It's such a great debate as well. And a third and final point that I did not think about is the lifestyle of a 14 and 15, 16-year-old pro is so much different than that of a 25, 26, 28-year-old pro, and can easily take away from what they can actually do at a competitive level. And what I mean by this is, take it for example, let's use an 18-year-old who is not going to go to college or just dropped out of his freshman year of college to go full-time pro. Something we have seen in a lot of cases out there across a lot of esports. He drops out or she drops out to fully focus on gaming and esports and being a pro. They got nothing on their plate but doing that and that only. Then you take a 28-year-old pro, and what kind of responsibilities in life do they have? Do they have a house? Do they have a dog? Do they want to have a family? Do they have kids as well? There are so many things as you age and get older that easily take away from you being a pro and can actually affect your, of course, not only your dedication, but of course your skill, because the time you put in might not be there as well. There are so many other life responsibilities that come as you age as well, and I think that plays a huge part as to why we don't know if age does matter in esports, because typically nowadays, what we're seeing? We're seeing most pros out there probably retire 24 to 26 years old, and now we are so used to seeing up-and-comers be, especially with the Fortnite scene, 14, 15, 16 years old. We have not seen enough pro players actually want to break that barrier of 26 or older to know if they're that good, because usually by the time they're 26, they're like, hey, I want to settle down. I'm a good gamer, but I want other things in life too. I look for prime examples out there. You guys can leave yours down below. I look towards a guy like Hiko, 30 years old, might be in his prime for a game like Valorant, although that's a brand new esport, right? We don't know how good he might be once the competition levels up and actually gets accustomed to that esport. And I would think a lot of people, and no offense to Hiko, love the guy, obviously, done videos on him as well. And I think a lot of people would argue he tailed off in Counter-Strike. Speaking of Counter-Strike, we look at Shox, 28 years old. I think many people might argue and debate he has fallen off since his peak self years prior. Was it because of age? Was it because of life or outside circumstances? We don't know. That's why it's such a tough debate. You think about a guy like Clayster. I think Clayster is an utter rarity at his age of 28 years old, seeing even recent success just this past season with another title and another COD champs. That's a very much a rarity to see someone of that age with also that stature in esports. I just don't know if we're ever going to see enough esports pros want to break that barrier of balancing life and esports beyond that age where we can actually argue, oh yeah, they still got it. Because certainly some pro players out there, 26 and above, they still got it, but others, maybe they still got it, but they also got other things going on, so we don't know what they still got. Am I making any sense at all? And especially over the past few years, we have seen so many young up-and-comers. They're getting younger and younger by the year as we slowly enter, the second generation of esports pros out there, especially with the Fortnite scene. Pretty much the entire Fortnite scene who is left right now, those pro players, even as young as 13 to 18 years old. 18 might feel old in a Fortnite competitive scene. We look at a young Shotzi from Call of Duty, up-and-comer, young and talent out there that people are willing to invest in. With his youth, he already is showing a skill that in a past generation, we didn't see guys who were that good, that young. Counter-Strike, we look towards Frozen or Oboe. These are teenagers, and by the generation, kids are getting younger and younger and still getting nuttier and nuttier at games. There are just so many stringents to really talk about as to why age does matter. I think age does matter, but will we ever know how much it matters? I don't know. And that's where I leave it for all of you guys to discuss and debate and spit back and forth, because I don't want to make a hard stance on this. I think it's quite obvious age does matter in esports. I just don't know where we draw the line on how much it does matter. What do you guys think about this? Going to be a heated debate for years to come, all right? We'll continue to talk about this one and some fun facets, hopefully in the future as well. Curious what you guys think as per usual, all right? Drink that water, drink that coffee. I'll catch you guys back here sometime soon. Take care.